Welcome to the Authentically Elisa podcast, Reshaping Business with Integrity, the podcast where we explore how to run your business authentically and with integrity. I'm your host, Elisa Boogaerts, a business coach and launch manager, helping coaches launch their programs and events that align with their business values. Together, we'll uncover the secrets to building a successful business without sacrificing morals, ethics, authenticity, or heart. Let's dive in. Let's dive into today's episode. Today, we're going to be talking about leveraging your human design to develop your thought leadership. And today, my guest is Nancy OKeefe. And Nancy is a human design business and leadership coach who guides women entrepreneurs in impactful service businesses to make a bigger difference, fuel demand for their services, and step into their highest potential to lead their niche and grow a successful and fulfilling business by leveraging their human design. Nancy is a best-selling author, an expert columnist for Aspire magazine, a certified executive coach from the College of Executives Coaching, and holds an MBA from Babson College. Welcome, Nancy. So great to have you here.
Hi, very nice to be here. Thanks for having me, Elisa.
Yeah, no worries at all. So tell me, how you got into this field of work and just why you're so passionate about it.
Well, I've been a business coach for probably 30 years, and I've always used assessments in my work, Myers-Briggs, DISC, things like that. And about 7 or 8 years ago, human design came floating across my radar one day, and I took a quick look at my own, and it was so complex looking, I just shoved it aside because I didn't have time to do it. But you know how the universe works, right? So if you're supposed to look at something, it just keeps showing up until you look at it. And that's what happened with this. And one day I was it was a Saturday and I had not a lot to do that day. It was raining. So I decided to dig in and I just fell in love with it. It was so amazing. I could no longer pigeonhole people into 16 types or 4 frameworks or anything. It just wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been interested in helping people develop their strengths and their talents. I've done a lot around the talent area. One of my books is about talent, both acquisition and retention, and really using people's strengths. And that's always been something I've been interested in helping people with, because we have so many wonderful people in the world, and sometimes we don't get to shine. We get pigeonholed into a job description, or we get pigeonholed into, some label, and we have dormant talents, if you will, that we're not able to use. I love bringing those out, giving people a chance for complete and total self-expression in their work. Let's face it, we spend a lot of time working,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to feel fulfilled and satisfied with what we're doing there. And often we aren't, because we can't really use everything that we have, all the goodies that we can bring to bear.
Right. Yes, absolutely. And when I first had my human design chart and looked at it, it was very interesting because it talked a lot about, I can't remember what it was, but it was like the one that was around your throat. So it was like about basically I need to use my voice. And, but I've always silenced myself. I've always kind of been the quieter one. I'm introverted, didn't really use my voice much. And so seeing that, kind of started to give me permission that I could start to do that a little bit. I think there was a lot of at least growing up, like it was like, I needed to be quiet. I need, all these things, and speaking up or saying anything kind of would get me in trouble in some way, or I would, get teased or whatever. And so I very much silenced myself. And so seeing that, I was like, oh, so like it wasn't just that, like, I wasn't using the talent, I guess it was more just like, yeah, I didn't give myself permission to do it. And so,
Right.
yeah, so that was kind of one of the things about even starting a podcast is like, okay, yes, I can actually start to use my voice. And it's actually funny, just on the weekend, a friend of mine was, who's known me since we were teenagers. We're not very close. I mean, we kind of see each other once or twice a year. And he's like, oh, actually, I really noticed, you talking more and speaking up more. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like, okay, great. Like, I'm actually just starting to voice the opinions more. Yeah.
Yeah, because everybody's voice matters. When we come into the world, we come into the world with a purpose, and we're here to contribute something specific. And in order to do that, everything manifests through the throat, action,
Mm.
words, everything. And that is the center that gets us moving. So it's interesting. A lot of times, especially women, we've been, encouraged to hold back. Uh, I'm older than you, but when I grew up, um, speaking your mind was considered aggressive and unattractive.
Right.
And we were not encouraged to, really have an opinion and speak it. But women have a lot of valuable opinions and wisdom, and everyone has something to contribute, and it's important to be able to share it.
Yes, yes. And it's important to speak up with things that you really care about. Like even just recently in the last year, I remember something happened to me that someone made me feel really uncomfortable and I felt like saying something. And this other person was like, no, I wouldn't say anything if I was you. They silenced me and I was like, very interesting. Yeah. It was this sort
Yeah,
of, we still get told
we do. Yeah,
to keep it quiet. Yeah. So, and I think that, using your voice, it can be done in many different ways, right? Like you can express your opinion in a kind, thoughtful, compassionate, calm way, right? And you don't have to be, on some soapbox, or you don't have to be rallying. If you can be, and those are important too. But there are many different ways in which you can express your voice. And so it's just a way finding what is aligned with you and what you feel comfortable.
absolutely. And when you're authentic and you're speaking from your beliefs and your convictions, and you're really standing in what you believe, you're heard better. You're more powerful than if you're, shouting at the top of your lungs. That can
Right.
go on deaf ears, not even noticed. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not only how you say it, but it's what you say. And is it aligned with who you are? A lot of times people will be wearing a mask, acting the way they think they should act rather than the way they truly are. And that creates an instantaneous mistrust when you're speaking with somebody and what they feel from you energetically doesn't match the words and the actions they're seeing and noticing from you. It creates a little bit of, well, what am I getting here? This person doesn't really seem to be what they say they are, and it can create a little bit of mistrust.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And speaking of authenticity and integrity, how do you think that we can reshape business to be more in integrity?
Well, I think that we need to all be ourselves, first of all. That authenticity piece is huge. And we're going to be entering a new energy. We've been under the energy in human design terms of the cross of planning for 400 years. It's came into being in 1615. And on February of 2027, that's the hard date when we will shift to the cross of the sleeping phoenix, which is far more collaborative and individual, self empowered, more feminine energy. Now, obviously, it isn't going to happen right on the date. That's a hard date, but it's
I think
already
it's already
happening.
happening.
It's
Yeah, I was
already
just thinking
happening.
that.
Many people feel a call to do something different. If you look at what's been going on in the world in the last decade or even more, a lot of our systems, a lot of our processes, our institutions, they're kind of buckling and crumbling. During COVID, we saw the healthcare system unable to handle the load. We have a government shutdown today. I mean,
Right.
we see our systems, education system. When I went to school, you had public school and you had Catholic school. Now you have charter schools, homeschool. I mean, something is missing in an education system that causes other opportunities or other types of venues to spring up. So we've been seeing all of these institutions that were created in the name of growth under this old energy are beginning to buckle. They're not serving us any longer as well as they did. And new things will begin to emerge, have already began to emerge. So it's quite interesting to watch how this rolls out.
Mm-hmm.
It's taken us probably, I don't know, 20, 30 years on the, side leading up to February of 27. And it'll probably take us another 30 years after that date to really ease into this new energy. But from what I hear all the experts say, it's going to be a much more peaceful and more feminine, more collaborative model where people will feel empowered to speak their mind, and it will be well received. We will not be sweeping differences under the rug. we'll be honoring differences and recognizing that those are the juicy parts of us. And when we hide them, the people that are have the juice are suffering, and the people that could benefit from it are suffering too.
Right.
So I think this is a really pivotal time to be alive, frankly. And I see this making a huge impact in the way we do business,
Yeah.
moving away from, trying to satisfy the shareholders and thinking only about the bottom line to a currency that's more about well-being for all and a little less about the money. And we'll see how
Hmm.
that pans out. I hope I'm
Yeah.
around long enough to see how it pans out, but that's what all indicators look like.
Yeah. And you even hear, because I'm in the coaching industry as well, and hear that a lot about, people, uh, maybe don't even want to be in group programs as much anymore. They want it live. They don't want some online course where they just watch videos. They want that interaction. They want that authenticity. They want that closeness, that connection, right?
That
And
community,
community
absolutely.
is a huge word right now. Everybody's building communities everywhere. And of course, if things are coming back in person and are back in person. And yeah, you're really starting to see that a bit more. Like people really want to connect. And I know that definitely like COVID, I think, had a huge impact on that because
Huge
that's what
impact.
people
Yeah.
craving a lot. But yeah, even in the industries, yeah, like, creating an online course before, was really lucrative. But now people are like, oh, I want to watch some videos by myself in my room. Like I want to
Right.
be in a group with other people and I want to learn directly. And I want that one-on-one. I want you to get to know me, right? Like it's really much more where,
And I want to know you and I want to work together. I don't want a
mm-hmm,
guru standing there telling me how I should do it because this is how it worked for them. I
right,
want them to understand me and help guide me through how I'm wired to operate. And that's what human design is so powerful for. Well, we can look at your whole design and we can structure your business in a way that works for you. We can help you create a program or create an experience for your clients that matches your energy. If you're somebody who doesn't have energizer bunny energy, you don't want to enter into a year-long program that you're going to teach 50 people because you're going to burn out. So
right.
all those things can help us do business in a way that makes it easier to do it. It'll flow better. We'll feel more satisfaction and less stress, less burnout. Yeah, it's just the way to go for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting. So yeah, let's talk about, how someone can leverage their human design to really develop their thought leadership. Give us some tips on that.
Well, everybody gets afraid of the term thought leadership. Oh, I
Mm.
don't have anything to say. I'm not a thought leader. But I usually turn it around and say, do you have an opinion? Everybody has an opinion. And thought leadership, the way I define it, is really just a way to stand in your convictions so that you stand out. We've spent a decade working with cookie cutter models and scripts, sales scripts, say it this way, use this magic sentence.
Yeah.
And we all sound the same. We all
Yeah.
sound the same. So, especially in the online business world or on social media, it's very hard to distinguish one coach from another, one realtor from another, one attorney from another, because we're all talking the same talk. So, if you have a thought leadership position, you develop a point of view about something, and you can tie that point of view to what you help clients with and the problem that you're trying to help them solve. Now you're going to stand out because you're going to sound a little bit different. And to your point before about you don't have to get on the soapbox and you don't have to be loud and, you know, controversial about it. No, you don't. But when you identify your point of view, that will attract a certain faction of people. It won't be for everyone. You're going to sort of polarize people, which is a good thing because we want to attract the right clients, not just every client.
Right.
And this is another way to do that naturally. People will self-select. If I'm talking about thought leadership and you don't think you ever want to speak on a stage or create any kind of a talk, well then I might not be the coach for you.
Right.
But if I'm talking about thought leadership and more visibility and how you can, really get your message out there because you want to make a larger impact, and you're somebody who's interested in doing that, then you're going to be a little bit more interested in what I have to say. So it's a true differentiator in a natural way. And that's, I think, where it's so powerful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, very interesting. And I just had a thought about one of my clients. She has a like a TV network and is bringing TV hosts on. And it's kind of interesting how that trend is also changing too, like sort of the whole Hollywood model and sort of the rich and famous actors and actresses. People are wanting more authentic people sharing their opinions, using their human design to express that in a certain way, and
Yes.
we're wanting those connections with those more real down to earth people, which is why you're kind of seeing normal people, not super celebrities, creating their own shows and their own podcasts and things like that, because people want that
We
and
want
to
to be
hear
able
that
to
properly.
relate. Some of
Mm-hmm.
the bigger names, the stars, they're not relatable.
Right.
When you stand on a stage as a guru and you say, oh, you're going to make $1 million, somebody that's struggling to make 3,000 a month can't, you can't relate to that at all. You
Right.
have to step up. You can't go in leaps and bounds. I mean, some people do, but most
Yeah.
of us have to, it's a little bit slower path,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to be relatable. And, the whole authenticity piece is so huge. We have a big trust issue in the marketplace,
Mm.
especially in the online world, because people have been burned. People have signed up and spent money on courses and other programs and things that just plain didn't deliver on the promise that was made. And whether that was the person creating the program's fault or the person taking the program, maybe it wasn't the right program. I've heard a statistic: 95% of people that take a course never finish it.
Yes.
Who
Isn't
does
that
that
crazy?
serve? So it's really important that we focus in on serving people in a way that they need to be served. And that's another aspect that really can help a business owner when they understand human design and can recognize certain characteristics in their clients. They can serve them the way they need to be served. And that's just going to create so much more trust, and they'll get the result everybody wants them to get. And that skepticism, that low trust will go away eventually. It won't happen overnight. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we've done ourselves a big disservice between social media and offers that, really weren't true for everyone. And
Yeah.
just because you did something and it worked for you, you might have great material. You might be able to teach that, but it's not going to work for everyone.
Yeah.
No one else is wired exactly like you. So you can share your good stuff, and it's probably very good stuff, but it won't work for the masses. Everybody's different.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And also sometimes I think, when did it happen and how is it happening? Sometimes I see some coaches where, they're making multi six figures, even to seven figures, and they're talking about what works for them. I'm like, well, that's very great, but is it going to work for someone that's making under 50 grand? And I remember there was one of my coaches, he always showed, how his business like went from 20K to 950K in 3 years. And of course, that was during the pandemic when a lot of people went online and needed business coaches. So that was a huge boom. And that's where a lot of the mistrust, I think, came, because people weren't actually business coaches, but pretending they were and not
Yeah.
delivering. And so he had this huge jump. And I was like, I think that a lot of the people that you were talking to are asking, how am I getting to that 20K? That first
Yeah.
little box where you talk about how you jump, they don't want to necessarily like 950K. Okay, maybe, but right now they're not even making the 20K and they want to know how to even do that. So
And
meet
some
them
of
where
them
they're
aren't
at.
even making 10K yet,
Right. Yeah.
And, why do we shame them? Oh, gosh, I must be a complete and total failure because I'm not making 20K a month. Not true.
Right.
And the other thing that I teach is, what do you want? That's a tough question to answer. I spend a lot of time on that with my clients. And
Mm.
one woman finally admitted she started out with, I want to make 10K a month because that's the figure everybody throws around. And I only want to work 3 days a week. And I'm thinking, well, when you figure out how to do that, let me know, because that's a tough one. I mean, it's possible, but. And then she ratcheted it back and she said, I really only need about an extra $3,000 a month. And that would be a great starting point for me. And I'm like, now you're being realistic. Let's get you there. And then we can look at the next goal that you want to meet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It's all that incremental, right? Like what can be real now. And sure, yeah, like maybe eventually, but everybody has to build to that. Everybody has to build.
Absolutely. Otherwise, you set yourself up for failure.
Absolutely.
Mm.
So like based on what we're talking about today, if there was, can you think of one specific action we could give the listeners for them to start on this
Yes,
journey?
start your human design journey. If you would go out to my website, nancyokeefecoaching.com, right on the homepage is a big blue button, and you can click that button and fill in your date of birth, your time of birth, and your place of birth, and you will get a free human design primer that's customized to your date of birth, and it'll tell you all about your human design. Your chart will be in there, and that's a great place to start.
So, yes, yes. Go figure out your human design. It's so interesting and read through it. And then, yeah, see, and it's really, I thought it was such an amazing self-reflection as well. I love that how you said that too. Like I've done so many of those personal development things where like, okay, I fit in this box, I fit in this box, I fit in this box.
Yeah,
And I know a lot of us kind of like that because they sort of have some type of belonging with it. But the human design is so intricate, and I didn't even like get into all of the things. There were so many things to do it, but I got kind of the basics, and then from there it can really help you to make decisions. It can help you think about how you do your business, even how you work, who you work with. It's really eye-opening, so
your
definitely.
relationships with your clients, with your peers, with everybody. Yeah, it's very, very powerful. And um, there's also a resource page on my site where you can get a couple of ebooks that explain a little bit more about it. But definitely start the journey. That's what I hope everybody learns about their human design, because it can make a difference in every aspect of your life.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Oh, thank you so much for that. So I know you already just gave your website. Is that the best place where our listeners can find you?
Yes,
Okay, perfect.
nancyokeefecoaching.com.
Awesome.
And if anybody, I'm always happy to chat. So anytime, people can uh, contact me, email me, what have you, I'm happy to share what I know. I'm into this now 7 or 8 years, and I'm still learning something every day. So it is so powerful.
It is, it is. Oh, thank you. And to finish us off, do you have any final words of wisdom?
I would just say, be yourself. Sounds easy, but it isn't. You've had years and years of conditioning trying to make you into something you're not. You're not broken. You're divinely designed exactly as you are. You're perfect. And all you need to do is become aware and reacquainted with the authentic you, and start to really live being yourself. Don't settle for a life that's somebody else's idea of success.
Thank you so much. That was super powerful. Amazing. I hope everybody go back, you skip back 20 seconds and listen to that again. That was really good. Thank you so much, Nancy. It was so nice having you on the show.
Oh, it was very nice being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope it inspired you to live a more authentic life. I'd love your help in inspiring more people to live authentically. So please follow, rate, and leave a review so we can create a ripple effect of authenticity. Until next time, stay true to you, be bold, and thrive on your own terms. This is Elisa, signing off authentically.